Right, ladies and gentle thems, it's just gone midday, so I think we can get ourselves nice and started. Firstly, I want to express my gratitude and thanks for coming to join me to what hopefully should be a very insightful and informative discussion around the future of client entertainment and whether I believe is corporate hospitality, or more specifically sporting hospitality, dying. Now, in this session, we're going to discuss as the price of sporting hospitality continues to climb, and businesses look for a more tailored and meaningful VIP experience, we begin to explore the options that are available to us. So essentially, at the end of this session, we're going to cover three main areas. Firstly, how to truly captivate your client audience through means of corporate entertainment. Second, why a tailored, unique VIP experience is more valuable to you and your clients than the well-trodden path of sporting hospitality. And third, why your business should be thinking differently in order to guarantee your invitations are accepted by your key target audience. So by means of introduction, now we all live in a world where coming together as people is an innate part of the human experience. Who we spend our time with and what we do in that time not only defines ourselves as individuals, but when considered in the context of corporate hospitality and business, ultimately goes a long way to determining whether or not a business will be successful. Everyone in this room here today, listening to me now, is dependent on a number of respective key business partners, whether they be suppliers, buyers, or your own staff. We are dependent on the networks and these relationships, which with regards to corporate hospitality, at its very essence, typifies the value that we place on these partnerships. We are investing our time and expense in an experience to help cultivate those meaningful relationships that not only enrich ourselves as individuals, but if also done properly, swell our company growth ambitions as well. So then, the question begs, why is it that I'm standing in front of you today discussing whether or not corporate hospitality, and we'll go more about sporting hospitality, is dying? If it is so important to growth and success on a personal and commercial level, why do I feel that corporate hospitality is indeed entering a new phase? All opinions are valid and unique. Well, unless you're Donald Trump, frankly. But on a serious point, I want to quickly provide an overview as to my background that will hopefully serve as a foundation to why I believe the old traditional forms of corporate hospitality, more specifically sporting hospitality, is dying. To hopefully this will serve as a means to provide you with the tools and mindset to help you plan to achieve better connections with your target audience, bringing all those previously unrealized riches to life, and ultimately yourself. So where to begin? So my name is Lech Edward Arkadiusz Jerzy Marian Sikorsky, which, as you can imagine, I'm an event planner's worst nightmare. I mean, good luck spelling my name on flights. I've got a plant-based diet. You've got my height consideration. And I don't exactly adhere to strict formal dress codes, do I here? But more importantly, on a more serious note, I'm also the director of an entertainment agency called Paragon One Life Partner. Now, we're based in London, in the idyllic area of Richmond, which is almost as colourful as my shirt, for those who've been there before. But it's also, more importantly, Richmond is renowned favourite spot for David Attenborough, who, as we might know, is a renowned environmental activist, TV personality, and much in this holistic spirit of approach to the world. Paragon, as an agency, spans 3 divisions, which neatly covers all areas of getting people together. Firstly, I guess it's our global hospitality and VIP events division. Our network of venues, suppliers, promoters, box owners, and sponsors gives us an unrivaled access to sporting and non-sporting occasions worldwide, which is extensive, credible, and trustworthy. You name the event, we can provide it. It's that simple. More interestingly, though, as we go into this VIP events discussion, we further commit financially advanced to a number of key major sporting occasions. Our crown jewel, perhaps, is the Monaco Grand Prix, where we take 350 people every year from the UK, a mixture of day trips in and out in a single day, chartered flights, transfers, entertainment, as well as our bespoke VIP weekend experiences, ranging from anything from a humble, modest apartment in Nice to experiencing a cabin on a trackside yacht throughout the weekend. Another major sporting event which we invest in is the Cheltenham Festival, where we have a glass-fronted, course-facing suite of 120 people each day during this iconic racing event, which we fill with celebrities, which we fill with ex-jockeys and premium food offerings, as well as the little touches like virtual reality headsets. Now, I can't promise you winners, but I will guarantee you have a memorable experience. Another part to ourselves is our dining series, both formal and informal, interactive and viewing, from 200 up to 1,000 plus guests, many of which include examples such as our Question of Sport themed dinner hosted by Phil Tufnell and Matt Dawson, based on the BBC television show, which will be happening in a couple of weeks. Or indeed, to celebrate the Euros next year, we'll be running a number of large-scale screenings across Europe for companies looking to entertain their clients who can't necessarily afford to go to the games themselves. And indeed, of course, our black tie gala dinners that we create and sell to the public, where, for example, for the Rugby World Cup, we did a launch dinner for nearly 500 people overlooking the London skyline, one of London's most iconic venues. Now, these are just a small selection, of course. I could go on for hours, but I'm just giving you a mindset of the scope and degree as a business and agency we get involved in. Next, our second part of our agency is our event management division. Now, essentially, if we work in events, we all know what event management effectively is. We're providing creative solutions to briefs, which revolves around venue finding, accommodation, activities, brand awareness, gifts, any tangible things to make it as elevated as possible. And from this, we have been nominated for numerous awards for just our incentives for long haul and short haul, if it's 80 people to Cape Town for a couple of days, or Nantes for a couple of days in France on a short haul. Whether it's our conferences where we had to organize over a 3-month period 6 large-scale conferences in different parts of Europe, or indeed organizing a football tournament concurrently alongside the conference as well. Again, we were nominated for CNIT. Next, we've been fortunate enough to work with the BBC around organizing the official Children Need corporate fundraiser for 5 years for 1,000 plus people, which we've been selling tables to the public to raise well over £1 million for such a worthy cause. And my personal favorite, organising Allianz's 125th anniversary party for 2,500 people. The third part of Paragon is probably our most exciting part, the talent that we've managed. Over 19 years, we've had access to over 55 prominent sporting as well as broadcasting personalities, to which we've managed the likes of Sir Alistair Cook and Sir Andrew Strauss, 2 Ashes-winning captains, alongside one King of the Jungle, Phil Tufnell, for those who love the ITV show that's currently on now, back in 2004. So more pertinently, why am I telling you all of this? Well, I guess it's to discuss the foundation of expertise and credibility to what we're about to discuss, from being there on the front lines for as many years as we've been around. We've seen firsthand what works for clients, and we've listened to the feedback. And I want to share that intel with you, so hopefully you can take something prominent away for it today to enrich those relationships that you have with your own key target audience. Now, from the outset, looking at various reports and experience, the state of corporate hospitality and attending sporting events has actually never been greater. You know, in 2017 alone, nearly 75 million people attended UK sporting events alone, as well as the nearly £42.3 billion was generated by UK event sector, where it's perceived another 8% increase will take place. Now, this all seems quite memorable, doesn't it? I mean, as an example, we choose an iconic sporting occasion, Royal Ascot. Who here, as a raise of hands, has been to Royal Ascot, the horse racing event? No one. Okay. Okay, different parts of the world. They're not a problem at all. Royal Ascot, for those who don't know, is a quintessential horse racing event. It takes place in June, attended by the royal family, the Queen and etc. And as a part of the invitation, it's all very regal in terms of gold-fronted font, you know, top hats, dresses, very fine, premium food, premium drink selection, whilst also hoping to have success on a flutter. But the thing is, from our experience on the front lines, it's evident that appearances can be deceiving. I mean, we operate in a space in creating memorable experiences to get people together. But why this obsession about having to be seen at actual sporting events? I mean, some clients don't even like rugby but still get invited to the World Cup final. Some people don't even like the treatment of horses, or they don't even gamble and still get invited to the coveted Ladies' Day at Royal Ascot. Do people intuitively feel here that just getting drunk at a box at a sporting event signifies a meaningful relationship with the person you're looking to invite? I just want you to ponder that. Now, of course, it's going to depend on the type of event you're doing. Some people will always go to Royal Ascot, to a football event, a cricket event, a rugby event, because why change what's not broken, correct? And generally, some people, they've never been before, so they want to tick it off as a bucket list item. However, what we've seen, having spoken to the numerous clients we work with around the world for many years, is this change in landscape around expectations regarding this engagement and an increasing demand to create more meaningful experiences. Now, we'll cover this later on, but as the only example, you only have to see the more publicized narrative on television, social media, and our streets around how we are affecting the planet and the environment as people are becoming more self-aware around our own impact, our choices, and presentation. I mean, as an example, even the traditional black tie table of 10 with its 3-course meal, half a bottle of wine per person, intuitively feels like this antiquated old man's club coming together. I mean, for those who might not remember what happened at the President's Club at the Dorchester in 2018, the reviews weren't great. Basically, a cliched, stuck-in-time approach to getting your clients together. So where does this take us? We are constantly pressured to be in the moment in this fast-paced, constantly changing environment where self-promotion has never been greater. I saw this game. I met this person. I did this activity. The need to stand out from the crowd has never been greater, with this emphasis on the next wow moment. However, much like the filters we use on Instagram to promote ourselves, the language that we attribute to certain experiences, particularly in sport, is probably detached from reality. For example, as much as I love seeing live acts at the O2, maybe even the ATP tennis, the hospitality catering being advertised as premium or once in a lifetime or any other selling buzzword is probably stretching it somewhat based on what we've seen, our feedback, and what we've experienced ourselves. So in this frame of mind, more pertinently, when we are inviting people, whether they're season regulars of hospitality or first-timers, have we actually ever stopped to consider the practicalities around them accepting our invitations? People's time is precious. We are people with families in this room. I mean, does anyone have kids in this room? Exactly. We are people with children. Whilst everyone here loves a jolly, and I'm sure some of you will be going to the party this evening, we also value the importance of spending quality time outside of the office with our significant others and our offspring. We are people with friendship groups. I mean, anyone here struggling to get a Christmas meal together with their friends, just one date over the next couple of weeks? I can't. It's impossible. I've tried. Basically, work schedules are tough. because your time is precious. And we're also people with goals. It could be securing a new relationship. It could be becoming healthier in terms of mental or the physical side, or indeed just acquiring new skills. But whether we have to apply ourselves to securing those ambitions outside of work, that's key. So what am I getting to with this? Essentially, uninspired, generic, run-of-the-mill invitations, even if they do cost a premium, if it's Wimbledon tennis final or Champions League final like in Istanbul next year, it just won't cut it anymore. I mean, people here, let's have a series of hands. I'm not too sure, we're buyers, suppliers, agents, etc., but who here has had people turn down an invitation from an event they're putting on? Raise their hands. Anybody? So we got 1, 2. Okay, so some people here. But it's obviously quite a common problem for everyone here, or for some even. Now, of course, it depends on the type of events we're running. But when we create events, particularly incentive trips or overseas conferences, being considerate to the needs of the individual are of fundamental importance. Words like exciting, premium, VIP, educational, accessible, flexible, they're just buzzwords at the end of the day. What do they actually mean when you get to the core of it? Now, people, they admire authenticity in your approach. If you're direct with them, they will respect you. And if you're incurably curious, they will further respect you because you are attempting to understand who they are fundamentally, and in order to create that most meaningful and impactful experience for them and your guests. Now, we've used that connection to deliver some incredible experiences. This group here, one of my good friends, they love motorsport, they love motor racing, but they also are planning to get married this year. So why not have a wedding on our own trackside yacht during the Monaco Grand Prix? This was them on the actual day itself. I'm not ashamed to admit there were a lot of tears on my part. It's very beautiful. But again, for people who can't afford to go to the Euro Championships or the World Cup in football, why not bring that flavor back to them in their backyard, in their venue of choice? Fit it with the atmosphere, fit it with celebrity speakers, fit it with VR headset, fit it with little touches, fit it with games, gifts, anything to replicate the fan experience while saving a shed load of money. For people here who may even love cricket, I mean, I'm not a particularly good cricket person, but I don't mind watching it. But who always goes to the Oval or Lords in England, been in a box, been to a restaurant, experienced all the hospitality. Well, how about we elevate it and actually play cricket at the home of cricket, Lords, surrounded by England's best ever batsman, Sir Alistair Cook, and Phil Tufnell. Learn to bowl at him at the home of cricket whilst getting a behind-the-scenes tour, listening to those witty anecdotes in the dressing rooms whilst having those behind-the-scenes experiences. Just something a bit more elevated and meaningful. For those of you who might work in sales or run a sales team, and you've got some young whippersnappers giving you lip about their dedication, about how good they are. But they also like the thug life sport of boxing, to get fit, etc. Well, why don't you get in the ring with an ex-heavyweight boxer like David Hay, who'll put you through your paces? And I tell you what, these guys never gave lip back again to their boss after we did this experience for them. Or even if you just like something less physical, just like food, why not learn how to cook like a Michelin star chef with Jean-Christophe Novelli, who you might know is currently on Channel 4 doing a TV series. But he will come and show you and separate into teams how to prepare these free-course, delectably delightful meals, whilst also in the background preparing food for your guests at the end of this night. We'll come on to that later. The point is, it's this behind-the-scenes access, this meet and greet with celebrities, spending a day with a sporting hero, and even in today's marketing, a signed piece of merchandise that's thought out, that can really go that extra mile to make you guys stand out. I mean, I'll come on to this now. So I recently went to Abu Dhabi as part of our fact-finding trip to expand operation next year. And this little guy is not exactly in proportion to me. But I tell you what, that was the most memorable gift in all my time working in corporate hospitality I've ever received. And you name it, I've received a lot of things. and I've been to a lot of events. This little gift here was the most memorable thing I've ever had, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. I shared this on my Facebook profile, my LinkedIn, my Instagram, exploded. Everyone wanted to know where I got this thing from. And it made me feel special, like they knew who I was, almost mocking how tall I was by showing how small I could be. That tailored, thought-out gift just went so far to making me want to work more with them going forward. And something for you guys to consider taking away. Because it is truly about that emotional connection to your audience that we have to remember. Now, there is a perception that VIP, or when we think about VIP, it's a tainted word. You know, it's synonymous with, I guess, elitism, lacking in intimacy, and actually without a grasp of reality. I mean, we live in a more self-aware world. There's environmental considerations to think about, whether plastic-free, our carbon emissions, probably you'd call the Greta Thunberg effect even. I mean, will there even be an opportunity to have a luxury travel industry in 50 years' time if we don't change the course that we're currently on? You then even have to consider the rise of digital invasiveness, with the growing increase of fake news, falsified online media profiles, the harmful effects of spending too much time to our screens and not to those around us. We all want to be part of something meaningful, because why would we not strive to obtain this elevated and holistic experience when getting people together? But I guess, how do we create that meaningful, positive, and impactful impact? Just a few examples of food for thought with regards to transportation. Now, I don't know if some of you might have heard EasyJet's big announcement yesterday about being the world's first major network, or airline network, sorry, to operate net zero carbon flights to its passengers. At a cost, I think it's £25 million per year. Because this growth of guilt around the environmental impacts of flying, what's known as flying shame, I think the Swedish call it flyktskam. Organizations like Climate Care in Oxford help calculate your carbon offprint to an effect which you can add to the costings of any brief that you do. You feel good, you win good, clients love it, it's great. Because we have to challenge ourselves to see whether luxury can also be equated with sustainability. A second part after transportation is our diet. Now, there was a recent groundbreaking study conducted in Nature and Nurture Geoscience, signed by over 12,000 world scientists, indicating the perils that we face as a species regarding current trends and what we can do as individuals to minimize our impact. So one of these things which you incorporate to any event is a more sustainable food offering. Plant-based diets. Flavor's incredible. You're doing something amazing for the world. You've got the educational aspect, okay? And you're trying something new. It's just you're encouraging curiosity with your audience about what you're looking to do at an event, which, you know, I don't know if anyone here has seen the recent documentary Game Changers on Netflix, but since that I've become, there we go, good man. I've become plant-based myself, and the energy I've got is ridiculous just by being curious, clicking a link. It's amazing what we can do when we're curious in life. Next, I guess, is this more immersive engagement with your audience. Because anyone can provide tickets or hospitality. You know, it's bread and butter. It's simple. But how do we include genuine behind-the-scenes access to meet your heroes, to stand you in good stead, to ensure that your invitation gets accepted? If I know that I'm going to meet an England World Cup winning captain, I'm going to go move heaven and earth to go see them because I love rugby, because the person who's invited me knows that fact. And I guess this thing again around tailored gifts is so important. You know, even a signed book by a Michelin star chef who's doing your dining experience just gives that little personal touches that you need to stand out from the crowd. Now, of course, there's a lot of you here today with practical, who might organize events, who might turn down invitations to events regarding the practical considerations. If it's compliance, I've got no money, I can either speak to the person who I'm looking to invite. I'm dealing with the PA. We've heard them all. All right, I've been a director for many years. I've heard them all. I've heard every single reason you can imagine under the sun. But until you ask the question, your perceptions may not be based in reality. So I guess before I go into my closing statement, I want to do a little competition here with the audience now, to which the winner who gets closest to my figure is going to get 2 free tickets to a VIP event that we're doing, Paragon, based in London, in a couple of weeks' time. If you're not going, you can hand it to your friends or to your clients. I don't mind. So I mentioned earlier we do this trip, the Monaco Grand Prix, okay, day trip, in and out in a single day. So what I want you all to do now is just to think about what this total cost will be in sterling, okay, in sterling. So you've got your chartered flight going from London to Nice, okay? Then you're picked up in a private transfer, say an executive Viano, to go down to Monaco. You then have trackside VIP hospitality, complimentary bar, food, all day, okay? You're by the start and finish line. You meet some of your F1 heroes. You then get, at the end of your hospitality, you get private transfer back to Nice, to which you're flown back to London again with food and drinks on board. So you've got your flights, your transfers, your VIP hospitality, and event management on site. Now, I'm just going to go around the room here just to see, but how much do you think that would cost? Is it just based on one person cost? How much would that cost for you? What do you reckon? How much, sorry? £300. Okay, £300,000 for one person. Okay, £300,000. Let's remember that figure, £300,000. What do you think? £25,000. Okay. You don't necessarily have to participate in this. You can put your hands up if you'd like to have a go for this, but 15,000. Okay, £15,000. Anybody else? Yes. 4,000. £2,000. Okay, £2,000. Okay. 4,000. Okay. Anyone else? Last guess here. 6,000. Okay, well. Okay, I'm liking this. It's like a bargain hunt auction here. Okay. Okay, last one. Sorry. 8,000. Okay. So, guys, I want you to remember 2 figures you heard today. You said 300,000. £300,000. Okay. And I think I overheard £2,000 somewhere. The actual answer is £1,900. Okay? £1,900 to bring this experience to life, which we do as an agency. And we replicate this across many other experiences in music, film, and sport. But the reason I did this little competition, because again, our perceptions aren't based on reality. If you don't ask, if you don't challenge, you don't know. So I guess when I have a closing statement here, and don't worry, we will sort out the prize at the end of the time. Look, the best adventures, and I shouldn't really be saying this because of the nature of the business I'm involved in, but the best adventures are actually always to be found deep inside of us. Okay? It's when you got perfect harmony between what you say, what you think, and what you do, in this sort of very curious, open-hearted, honest self, that not only you elevate yourself as a person, but you just elevate those around you. So when we talk about meaning and intimacy, we first got to understand for ourselves, why are we putting this event on? Why am I inviting X? Why am I drinking at Y? It's because we fundamentally care about our time, our people being there. So I implore you all, if there's only one thing to take away from this, is be calm, be curious, be compassionate. Really, it will give you so much happiness and open so many doors. But I just want to say thank you again for listening to me today. Any questions, I'll be over in the corner. But yes, thank you very much for listening. I hope you learned something today.